Hey guys, welcome to LZH project. My name is Salman Francis and this is server edition of our LZH project and part 2 of our DNS server. And in this video we will continue our configuration with DNS server. So in our previous video, if you remember, we have installed the packages required for DNS, bind and bind-utils. So just let's query if we have those packages, and rpm qa of bind will reveal that we have these packages required for DNS. Okay, and now what we need to do is we need to configure a few files. Okay, main configuration file is in etc. Let's go to etc and ls-ltr of named.conf will reveal that it's available. Let's go into named.conf and it will show you a few options such as this listen on port 53. We are going to make few changes, so let's start from the very beginning. I'm just going to remove this and I'll type any. Allow query. I'll type any, so all hosts can query this. Okay. Then just before, just after this, we will add our own zones. Okay, but to do that, let's save and quit. So we will go to cd var named. This is the main directory for these zones ls. Okay, you can see that I have these name.localhost and name.loopback. So what we can do to define our zones, we should have actually forward and reverse zones to configure DNS. So what we can do is we can easily copy name.localhost and we can give it names such as fwd-zone-itpings.com, or you can give it any name, or fwd zone or something like that. So I just feel comfortable with this, so I'll just copy this as a forward zone, and then reverse zone will be name.loopback. So reverse name is name.loopback and forward is name.localhost, and that's it. Now we have named forward and reverse zone. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to go back, just remember these names, into name.conf. Okay, first and foremost, just go to etc and copy this name.conf into name.conf.org. Okay, let's give it another name .1, so, because I already have one. Okay, now we'll just go back and let me write these names. Okay, now let's go to /etc name.conf. Okay, and over here we will define our own zones. To define our own zones, we'll just type zone. Then we can type here anything. Let's say name server .itpings.com and close. Type in. Then this is a master, type is master, and our file which we just created was fwd-zone-itpings.com. You need to make sure that it's exactly the same. Okay, and then we close it. So that's how we have created our forward zone, and the same way we will create a reverse zone. Okay, now we need to mention here our network address in reverse. So it's 1.168.192.in-addr and in type is master and file is reverse-zone-pings.com and close. Okay, we need to close this as well. Okay, once done, we can move forward to configure our forward zone and reverse zone. Okay, so let's configure our forward and reverse zone. And this is not a forwarding DNS forwarder or something, it's a full DNS server. So let's go to our var named files. Okay, and now we can just use vim and forward zone. Okay, so this is the configuration file, and let's change it as per our requirement, and it should be origin is itpings.com. This is our domain name dot. Okay, and then over here we will type, we'll remove this, and it's going to be name server1, let's say, dot itpings.com dot. You always end this with a dot, don't forget this. Okay, and remove this, and this is going to be the email address, root.itpings.com dot. Everything else is good. This now needs to be changed to, okay, in name server, let's do like this, tab it. Okay, and name server is ns1.itpings.com dot. Then we will set up our email address, mail server with in mx record of 10, and it's going to be, let's say, mail.itpings.com dot. Okay, then what is going to be address, internet address, like what this ns1.itpings.com is going to resolve to. It's going to be 192.168.1.10, our IP address. I'm just going to remove this thing. Okay, one thing is really important, please don't forget this. You will never comment with this in DNS. If you need to comment anything, you can comment it with this. Never use the hash symbol. Otherwise you are going to be in big trouble. So that's my 2 cents or 10 cents, whatever you like. Okay, then we need to mention ns1 in, and the address it's going to resolve is to same 192.168.1.10, and then name server in address 168.1.10. Okay, and we can also use canonical name for mail, and mail in cname is going to be name server. So whenever somebody sends mail to mail, it's going to be received by name server. So like whenever somebody is going to use mail server, it will be delivered to name server. Okay, so that's it. We have configured our forward zone. Now let's go and configure reverse zone, but let's first check that everything is okay one last time. Start of authority, SO stands for start of authority, NS1 is our defined name server. We can give it any name, ns1.itpings.com dot, always remember this, should end with dot, root.itpings.com dot. Okay, fine. In name server is ns1.itpings.com dot, fine. Mail server is, this is the priority of 10. You can just always tab this. To make more clear understanding. Okay, and then okay, you know what, let me remove this. It might create complications for you. So we will set up our mail server when we will configure one. So let's just remove this. Okay. Okay, so in NS, it's fine, just a minute. Okay. Okay, so this is fine. Now let's go to our reverse zone. Again, origin is going to be 192, the reverse I network in dash, oh sorry, okay, and this thing is going to be ns1 dot itpings.com dot root dot pings.com dot. Okay, and dot, remove this, I'm going to remove this and this, and over here I need to mention last like host name or host address of my host portion, sorry, of my IP address in pointer, what it's pointing to, it's pointing to name server.itpings.com dot. That's it. And if everything goes good, we can just systemctl restart named. Okay, we have a failure, so let's check. To check logs, we can go to var and then log and then messages, and it's saying that name service control exited, failed to start. What is the reason? Serial 0. Okay, so let me check the reason. Because it might take some time. So let me check and I'll come back and explain to you what was the issue. Okay guys, so I found the problem for our first issue, because if you remember, when we exited this, write and quit, system ctl restart named, it gave us this error which says like we were unable to understand this. So let's go step by step and find how to solve this. First we need to make sure that our named.conf main configuration file is correct, and to check that we will use this command named -checkconf /etc name.conf. If it returns nothing, it means that everything is good. Okay, sorry about that. Checkconf. Okay, so this is fine. What about this thing? To check zone, we use named-check zone. Then the name of our zone, if you remember, it was nameserver.itpings.com, and our forward zone is in/var/named directory. Press enter, and it's telling us that has 0 start of authority records, has no NS records, not loaded due to error. And the reason is, if we go to our forward zone, this origin thing, because this origin means that if you remember, we removed this @ symbol, and that is the reason we need, if we have removed this @ symbol, we need to remove this origin also. So I'm just going to remove this. Okay, and now if I check with this named/check zone name server and the same thing, press enter, you can see that it's telling okay. So this means this file is fine. Okay, same with our reverse zone. I'm just going to remove this. If you want to specify these origins, you have to mention the @ symbol. Okay, and what about if we check? Okay, let's see what was the name of our reverse zone, and it was this thing. Okay, so (1.168.192. I think it will work. Yeah, so this means that both zones are fine now. Let's start. I know this video is long, but you have to bear with me in order to understand. Otherwise it will be same like other videos which just don't make you guys understand how to remove the errors and how this system works. Okay, system ctl restart named. Now there's another error, and let's check what this error is about. Again, to check the errors, we go to var/log messages, and it's telling us that Open etc, permission denied, permission denied. Okay, let's check if we have our firewall first. Firewall -cmd -list all. Okay, so ports are added, but the service is also added. But if you don't know how to add this, you can use firewall -cmd -add port is equals to 53/UDP, because DNS uses UDP port and TCP also for queries and transfers, zone transfers. Okay, and you can add service like this, but it's already enabled. Okay, good. So what's the problem with the permission? So let's check the permission for our named.conf first. ls-ltr name.conf. It's root, and we need to change its ownership. And to change its ownership, we use chown. Okay, and named : named. Okay, cd/var named ls-ltr forward zone root change it to chown named, and same with the reverse zone. Okay, let's restart system now. Perfect. So systemctl status named, it's working fine, but we need to see why these errors are coming. Network unreachable. Okay. Because we need to make an entry in our let's change our resolve.conf and change this 192.168.1.10 ping google.com. Perfect, it's working. So our DNS is working, but what will happen if we restart this? ctl restart. At the moment, let's check cat etc resolve.conf. So our DNS is working, but if we restart network, so you can see it's back to Google DNS. So for this, we need to go to vim etc sysconfig network -script if cfg and our Ethernet file, and over here press I. You need to make sure you have this domain is equals to pings.com also, and here is the DNS one. We can just change it to 192.168.1.10. okay, escape, write and quit. Systemctl restart named, systemctl restart network, cat etc. Sorry. Perfect. Let's ping. And there we have it. Our DNS is working perfectly fine. Okay, so the utilities, how we can check if DNS is working fine. We will use ns lookup and name server.bitpings.com. Okay, it's resolving. Dig name server itpings.com. Perfect, no error, everything is working great. And you can see that in this long video, finally we have configured our DNS server, and in future we will use this DNS server for our mails and other purpose. So thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe. I know these videos are long, but that's how you learn Linux. Trust me. Thank you and have a good one.